Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. How are you doing on this amazing Thursday? Yana Kasperczak, your spiritual awakening core energy coach. And my soul's purpose is to help you get your shit together so you can break free from that mental prison that you find yourself in and live a fulfilling life that you are excited to wake up to every single day. You're proud of it and love it. As I feel a sneeze coming on. And if you're building your business like so many women out there, like myself, then I can help you through getting your shit together so you can show up for your business as well as showing up for yourself and for your family. So today, the topic that I have for you all is divine balance, thriving as a spiritual mompreneur. Now, it's a slow connection. I don't know how slow it can be. Let me open up my myself in the group so I don't miss this video. Sorry, not the video, the comments. Oh, it's already on here. That's the main one. Because it doesn't always show me the comments on my phone. And I just want to make sure that I am prepared, just in case my phone, once again, does not show me the comments. So, enough babbling to give you enough time and time and space to come and be prepared and sit down and be comfortable and listen into what we're going to be talking about today. Now, divine balance. What I mean by that is having that healthy balance with your personal life and with your business or career. It is so crucially important to have that balance between the two and for the two for yourself. Now, there are many categories that fall under the category of life, just like there are many categories that fall under the category of work, business, career. And although they're mostly the same for all of us, they are a little bit different for each and every one of us, and the meanings we hold for them is a little bit different. The importance we have on these things is also going to be a little bit different for each and every one of us. So that's why it's important for you to take the time to figure out what falls under the umbrella of life for you, what is important to you every single day that you got to do, or once a week or once a month that is important for you to do, and what about your business or job or career. Figuring out what falls under each umbrella would be the first step for all of us to do. And in many cases, what tends to happen is that we don't have it all figured out all at once. Hello, Cleo. She agrees. That's my kitty cat. One of them. We don't have them all figured out all at once. It's going to take trial and error to figure out what is under the umbrella of life that is important to us, and the meaning for each one, and the importance for each one. And yes, hello. She's been starting to come and join me for these videos that I do, or the calls that I have. So thank you, Kalia. But she's a furry one, and she sheds quite a bit, so we'll keep her there. But she, cats are persistent. Sometimes we gotta be more like a cat. Maybe one of the things that is under your umbrella of life, and what's important to your life, is being more like a cat. Being more persistent with the things that you want, things that are important to you. Like for her right now, it's important to get her pettings, get her scratching in. It makes her happy. This is what she wants. And I bet you if I put her down, she'll come right back. And I put her down again and she'll come right back. And then if I don't pet her and I just have my hand here, she'll rub herself on me, and then she will end up taking a little nibble. Not until I bleed, but still with her sharp little teeth. So under that umbrella might be a personality trait that you're trying to work towards, becoming a certain type of an individual. Now, with the business, there's also going to be different things, whether it's business or a career or a job that you have. There's going to be different things that are going to fall under that umbrella. And taking the time to figure out what's important and what's not. Most of you are going to do it by doing it and then not doing it. By doing it and not doing it. And paying attention to how you feel, what you recognize. And it's very important to have that balance in our life, because if we don't have that balance, then we don't feel good. We feel out of balance. We feel tired. We feel easily annoyed or irritated. We feel frustrated. We don't think clearly. We don't sleep well. There's a lot of things that, by not having a balanced life, but not living a balanced life, that it starts to affect our overall being and living. And I'm going to put you down, Cleo, because you're distracting me a tiny bit. So none of the kitty's gone. If she doesn't come back, it'll be great, but chances are she might come back. But she's starting to get the point. Okay, so so having that balance between your life and work is important. So here's how I actually have started to figure out what is important to me, why it's important. Is number one, I have a journal every day that I use, that I'll show you. And I put a whole bunch of stickers on the front that I really like to make it pretty, and without having to spend an arm and a leg on some fancy journal, just go to the dollar store and get one of these thick notebooks. This one was a 3, what is it called? 3 subject notebook. It's just the biggest bang for the buck, as I like to call it. So what I have is, I'll show you. Yeah, it doesn't matter which page. So I'll show you this page. So this right here is business, and this right here is life. And I also have a little bit of journaling in here that I do. And in here, I write everything that I plan on doing that day. Now, this is the part that I'm still figuring out, because I tend to overschedule myself. I tend to put too many things on here, and a lot of the things that are already scheduled and are reoccurring, I don't put in this notebook, because I already have reminders for them. I remember to go and do that. So, and then when it's done, I put a check mark. I love checking things off, and I love highlighting them, and figuring out the system that works for you is going to be helpful as well. So having that balance between life and business, or life and business, since these pages are this way. And then whatever it is that I did not do that day, I move to the next day. Some days there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas that come through, and I jot them down. It doesn't mean I'm going to be getting it all done in one day. It just means that the next day, when it's time for me to sit down, which I typically do in the mornings, and sometimes my morning gets away from me, as I am a human being as well. And I've learned not to beat myself up for it. So what I do in that case is then I find a time throughout the day, and I sit down and see, there you go, she's back. And I sit down and make sure that this is actually done, because to me it is important to have this done. And then what I do is I move it to the next day or throughout the next week, and I spread things out throughout the day for the category either business or life. And by doing that, it allows me to see what is important and what's not important. Because let's say I've written something down, I came up with an idea or a thought today, and I've written it down, and I decided the next day, as I'm going through and my plan for the day, as I'm going through it and I'm rewriting things for today or for the next day, next couple of days, what I'm doing is I'm also checking, is this important? Is this something that I'm going to be able to get to doing today? And if not today, when? Sometimes the answer is I don't see myself doing that anytime soon whatsoever. So in that case, I say, great idea to myself, great idea, great thought, but it's not sticking. And if it's meant to be, it'll come back to me. So without having to hold on, I lived quite a bit of my life living in fear of, I'm going to forget this, or there's something important that I'm supposed to do and I'm not doing it. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing that's important? So this notebook has literally transformed my life and allowed me to have that divine balance, do the things that are important to me every single day, help me to structure my days. I also have cue cards that I have written things on them that are important to me that I go to, and that's why you don't see everything on here, that are for my personal life and that are for the business. And then within the personal life, there's I call it a slew of cue cards that I do. And yeah, so part of that would be like making the bed, making sure, getting dressed, brushing my teeth, the typical mundane things, as I would like to call them, because that's something that for quite a big part of my life, I feel like it was quite a big part of my life, as if it felt so big, it was so difficult, but it was just for a couple of years, or maybe even a few years, to be quite honest, where I didn't do those things. I barely struggled to get dressed. I did not make the bed. That would be something that I wouldn't even consider, because why would I? I'm going to be going to sleep in that bed tonight. I'm going to mess it up anyway, so why bother? That kind of attitude transfers into everything, by the way. And it did. And recognizing that everything starts with our morning, and having that healthy morning routine for me was so hugely important. And for me, my mornings are for me to spend with myself. And if the kids are home, to spend some of that time with my kids as well. But making sure that I have my me time. Having my coffee, my notebook, sometimes Netflix, sometimes just listening to YouTube music or podcast. And sometimes it's not a notebook, sometimes it's actually getting things done, depending on my mood. But most mornings lately, I have been just getting things done. Not today does not count. Today I'm tired from yesterday, because it's important to have that daily balance, where yesterday I spent quite a bit of my energy in the masculine, which means getting a lot of things done and doing and doing and doing, that today I need, okay, Kitty, stop. See, so sneaky and so persistent, that she wants something and she'll find her way in like a sly little fox. We can all learn from a cat and be more like a cat in some areas of our life. So today I spend more time just being, just sitting down, drinking my coffee. I have my second coffee now, and I realize I'm like too jittery already from the first one, so I'm gonna take some time to drink this one. It's in the coffee warmer. So today I spend more time just relaxing, just being, going through my notebook and putting, I don't have that many pages left, so just going through the rest of it and writing life and business on each page, and then the day of the week, and then dates for some of them. Not sure if there's going to be 28, 29, or how many days in February, and I didn't bother looking. I'll do it when I get to it, but recognizing that it's not that important for me right now to go and find that date. But if that's what you're doing and it would be important for you to do, and you feel like you feel better by doing it, then go and do it. So a really long-winded explanation about helping you to sharing with you what has helped me to create and have that massive peace of mind, where I am no longer anxious about my days and what I'm going to be doing. The only anxieties that I catch myself experiencing now is that knowing I've put too much on my list and I'm not going to get it done. So I remind myself that this is my old version of myself still here, over promising and being too eager of, in this amount of hours, I'm going to get all these things done. And whereas it's not realistic, at least not on a day like today, where the body and the mind and the soul and the spirit need some rest. So I'm not going to push and overwork myself, because there's going to be another day where I will do that and then some. So recognizing that sometimes we all do that. Sometimes we all over promise, either to someone or to ourselves. And at the same time, seeing that, hey, perhaps maybe today is not the day that I want to do this. Or like right now, I'm looking at this list in my life. One of the projects is paint my desk. And I'm recognizing that it's been a couple of weeks. I can go back and see when was the last time I actually painted my desk. Because it's really easy for me to actually see what I did and what I didn't do for each and every day. Why? It's because I check it off, I put a line across it, and then I highlight it. And the things that are highlighted, to me, they're almost like fall into the background. I know for some of you it might be the other way around, that the things that are highlighted are the things that you see, and things that are not highlighted are the things that you don't see. So for me, the highlighted things are just out of sight. And so like, for example, as you can see on this day, there's some journaling, some things that I did. And mind you, some of these things, they take a little while to do, like wash my cat, Ramses, who's 16 years old. And washing him feels like a chore because, number one, cats don't like water. Number two, I can never tell if he's clean or not, because the soap itself, and no matter what soap, no matter what shampoo I use on him, it does not lather up on him because of the type of fur that he has. He's a Cornish Rex, so his fur is like silk. So it's, like I said, I have yet to experience or find any kind of soap that lathers up. But as I'm washing and rinsing him, then I can see the dirt is coming off because he can't clean himself properly. So something like that takes a while. So recognizing that, hey, yes, I put quite a few things in here, and yes, I wanted to paint my desk that day, but that wasn't the day and the time. And I will get to, by continuing to put it on the days when I can get to it, when I have that space to do it, then I will get it done. It's also moving that reminder over and over and over again, because it's important to me. And then one of these days I will get to it and I will get it done. I'm a human being as well. Believe you me, that there are things that I would love to do every single day, but it's just not possible to do everything every single day. Hey Rebecca, I see the comments, and I see Debbie, because nothing shows for me on my phone aside from slow connection that keeps popping up at the very bottom. So if I appear slow to you guys, it's not my fault, it's my phone. Don't blame me, blame the phone. Rebecca says, good morning. I do feel like I'm not doing enough. That is a very, very normal feeling. I lived feeling like I wasn't doing enough until I had this journal, until I started showing up for myself and for this journal every single day, so I could physically see not only what was spiraling in my head. This is brain dumping, right? Not only what was spiraling in my head, all these to-do lists, all these thoughts, all these feelings, all these emotions, all these different things. I actually have a different journal that's separate, where I journal. I journal in here very rarely. Most of it just goes in the actual journal, where I journal or write my feelings and emotions. This is more of like getting things done and getting my shit together, as I like to refer to it. So when I felt like I wasn't doing enough and I wasn't being enough, because at the end of the day, I had no proof, no evidence of what I did throughout the day. It felt like I wasn't doing anything, that I was just wasting my time and my day. And when I started doing this, I could very clearly see everything I did. And I used to write times for how long some of these things would take, and for some of you it might be actually helpful. Some days I still do. I write the time of when I started, when I finished, but to be quite honest, it's not on my priority list right now to go to it. But on average, I know approximately how long it takes. Like for a business, going through all the notifications that I get, all the messages, responding to all those messages, it could take quite some time. It can take anywhere from just notifications, for example. It can take anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours to just do notifications. And with messages, it can be the same thing depending on the messages, because most of the messages that I get, they require a lot of personal connection and attention. And that's not something I just quickly can just type up some emotionless response back. It's not, I don't do surface conversations. I feel like I've never actually enjoyed them. I always love to go deep. And as you can imagine, this is where the conversations are. And as well as a coach, right? People come to me with what they're going through in that current present time, and I help them through it. Okay. And Rebecca says, I'm totally getting sick too. You know, one of the things I will say about the sickness and being sick is, because you said your little ones are sick every other week. So it does have quite a lot to do with your little ones, but you have your own immune system. And when we are under stress and with thoughts like, I don't feel like I'm not doing enough, or feelings like I don't feel like I'm doing enough, that creates catabolic state, catabolic energy. And catabolic energy is destructive. It tears the force apart. It breaks down cells. It destroys things. So, of course, it's understandable that you would feel sick as well, and you would find yourself feeling sick quite often, and possibly getting sick fairly easily as well. Sometimes maybe if there is a breeze, too cold of a breeze, or if you have a fan running, and you can get a cold from just the fan as well. And I speak from my own experience as well. As well as many women that I have worked with, that when we start to get our shit together, and the best way I can explain it right now is when we shift from catabolic state of existence to anabolic, the one that builds us up, the one that allows us to thrive, where happiness and joy resides, that when we shift from the negative to the positive, our immune system becomes so much stronger that we either don't get sick, or when we do, because the human body still does need to be sick once in a while, is that we're healing through it that much quicker. I used to be sick all the time, like practically every season for a long period of time, and I was just miserable because I was sick all the time. But I was also sick all the time because I was also miserable. So it was a vicious cycle, and I was in a catabolic energetic state, and it just seeped through everything, and it affected my life in many different ways. And when I started to figure things out, I started following the things that have worked for others and that things that worked for me as well. It all comes down to, just because something has worked for you or for me does not mean it's going to work for you, or what worked for you does not mean it's going to work for me. So in order for me to figure out, I need to test it out. I need to have trial and error. With this kind of tracking of your day, it might not work for you, but in the process you will figure out your own system that works for you. But for me, the goal was, the biggest reason why I did that is because I was just like you, Rebecca. I felt like I was not doing enough. Every single day I felt like a failure. I didn't know where the day went. I didn't know what I did. I didn't know what happened. I could only remember certain things, but then the next day, I wouldn't remember as many things. The following day would be even less things, that I could not recall what I did a week ago. Whereas now, I can go back into this journal and I can tell you what I did. When did I start this journal? September 27th. I can tell you what I did September 27th, the things that I completed, the things that I didn't complete. And just looking back, I can see, like I said, very easily you can see the things that are done, the things that are not done. Things that are highlighted, the things that are done. Things that are not highlighted, those are not done, right? Again. And I put a big check mark right through the whole entire page, so I know I moved everything from there. It was either completed, or whatever wasn't completed was moved to another day, whether it's the next day or the following day or the following week. And I moved it over that I no longer need to look at that page, and that's why I know I have that check mark. If there is, let's say, an important quote that really was powerful for me that day, what I would do is in my cue cards. Let me pull them out. So I got this trusty thing in my bag. So I got my cue cards as well. Life and work and business is all about balance and figuring out some sort of a balanced structure that works for you. This is what works for me. Now, I don't go to my cue cards every single day. Even though that was initially the plan for me to go to my cue cards every single day, I don't go to them every single day because most of the things on here, I already remember and I already do them. And some of these things I remember to write them on here, but most of these things I already do every single day. So, oh, Cleo left. Bye, Cleo. Have fun. So then what I have, so this is my tabs, and I also, need my stickers. I like fun. I like looking at pretty things, so I just randomly would pick stickers. This one's actually really good. It's a reminder. So the first one is for life, right? Self-care. Next one is socials. The next one is family, kids, things that are important for them to get done every single day. This is questions for whenever I feel stuck, whenever I have a tough or rough day and I just can't get moving, or I don't know what to do and I'm spiraling, which hasn't happened for a while, but having them there has helped before. This one I haven't done anything. Actually, yeah, I did. It's just what I do on Mondays, the schedules, things that are recurring every single day of the week, Monday to Sunday. And then the last one is quotes. So all the quotes that were important to me and stood out that I heard or came across, I just write them on here, and they're my go-to as well. Sometimes when I'm feeling off, to help me feel balanced, I go to the quotes or go to the questions that help me through my blocks. Okay, so let me see. Let me put this. And this, we were driving to BC, and I was bored in the car. All the things that I wanted to do to plan or organize, I had them already done, and I was so bored I didn't know what else to do. I started drawing. Trees have been my thing of choice for drawing for quite some time. This table is a little, I don't know, the word snaggy comes to mind. It's a little rough, so it scratches my shirt and I don't want to damage it. And then Rebecca said, I remember how good it felt to check the things off in business. But once I reached the top of my career, I realized that isn't my life, and it's just the way I make money. It's been confusing trying to get back into the business mindset. It's just not important to me anymore. Yeah. For the business, it might not be. For your personal life, it might be. For you, you might not have that business part of the notebook. It might be just the life. Or you might separate it into, and this is where it's important I can't decide what it would be for you, but it might be personal development and personal growth. Might be separate from life, where what are the things that are important to you to learn and apply. Personal development is the things that you're learning about, like this video, like this podcast. Get your shit together with weekly life guidance with myself, Yana Kasperczak. So like listening to this podcast, for example, might be on that list of personal development. And then the other part, personal growth, is based on what you have learned in this video. What are you going to do with what you have learned? And that would be personal growth. That would be you applying what you have learned. And if you have a job, there are some things that you might put on there as well, whether it's things that you do every single day just so you can check them off and you feel a sense of accomplishment and achievement. You can also see you did this and this and this and this for work, and you showed up for work and then for your life. Or maybe you want to advance in your career, or maybe you want to start a new business for yourself. And that's where it's important to have those things that you plan on doing on that specific day or that specific week, and putting it within that day. It's all a matter of what is important to you based on how you are living your life and how you want to live your life. That's how I live. In fear of being irresponsible. It feels similar to what you were saying earlier, to not feeling I'm not doing enough, that it's feeling irresponsible by not doing enough, that you as a mom, you have so many responsibilities, so many things to do, and by you not getting this done or that done, or not remembering certain things that you did even from yesterday or the day before yesterday, that it can cause you to feel like you're irresponsible, because you at your core you feel responsible for a lot of things. And when you can't get them done in one day, or when you don't remember the things that you did, it can cause that feeling or that constant state of being not good enough and irresponsible. I'll put my hand up, as I am with you. I have been there. I have lived that way, in that state of mind, for quite some time, and it was crippling. It really was. And one of the things that has helped me is just seeing things physically. All of us, we thrive on proof, right? Just because we believe and know that we did something, or we did a lot of things yesterday, or we did a lot of things last week, we need that physical proof and evidence of what did we do with our days, with our time. And at the same time, by looking back, we can see what things were important, what things were not important, and which will help us to either continue doing those things or start to reflect on, no, those things that I was doing were actually not that important, and I was really just avoiding doing the things that were important. I use that example of my desk. Yes, I want to sit down and I want to refinish my desk, but in reality, my business is priority. It comes before completing that desk. Even though it's going to be for my office, I am okay taking my time to finish that desk, because I'm not in dire need. I already have one. But there are certain things in my business that simply cannot wait, that need me and my attention every single day. So prioritizing and recognizing that back in the day, which sounds like it was a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago, where I would spend more time having fun and playing in my hobbies and treating them as if they were my business and career, and not my business. I was treating my business as a hobby and my hobbies as a business. And then allowing myself to understand what was happening, where it was coming from, why and why not, to start switching to doing what is important and putting off things that are not that important. And then Rebecca says, I've been really struggling to be responsible after my awakening. I went through that where I struggled to get ready, washed up, etc. Yeah. Very, very, very normal state of being when you're going through a lot and when you're dealing with a lot and you feel responsible for a lot, and it feels like there's no time or energy left for you. And in the way, perhaps waiting for someone to take care of you and give you permission to take care of yourself, to breathe and take a break, and to say, okay, now you go do this, now you go do that, now you go do this, now you go wash, now you go do the other thing that you want to do. Now you can sit down and have your coffee in peace while I watch the kids and take care of them for you. We all want that. And that's why it's so important to also set boundaries in our life, in our business, which is another point I want to make. When it comes to divine balance, it is up to you to set those boundaries. And you have to be very clear with everyone. Nobody's a mind reader. And even if they try to read your mind, they're probably going to be like off, way off, either 50% off or 100% or 99% off, based on what they're thinking that you want or you're asking them. So if you want to have that coffee and peace and quiet, you need to communicate that very openly and very clearly. I want this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and sit down outside or inside, tell them where it's going to happen, and have my coffee in peace and quiet. At that point, if you have little kids, you might want to put some headphones in your ears so you can have that kind of peace and quiet, and sit down and let your partner know that what you want from them is to give you half an hour of just you and the coffee and nothing and no one else. And then when you're done, you'll come back and you will be refreshed and take over. But not to barge in and say, okay, half an hour is up, let's go. Doesn't feel good either. Rebecca asked, did you celebrate Valentine's Day? Yes. Yes, we did. We went out for dinner. My husband got me awesome, what do you call them? Natural hair products. 4 different types of hair products that he got me yesterday morning. He surprised me with them. And then we went out for dinner in the evening that he also scheduled or reserved for us at our favorite place. So it was a really nice surprise as well. Did you celebrate Valentine's Day? I'd love to hear that. And what did you guys do? And the other part, it's natural. After Valentine's Day dinners and stuff like that. Okay, this week I've been sleeping in. That's what Debbie said. Sometimes we need that as well. We need that extra rest. And then Rebecca said, I was trying to warm up my hands on the stove and burnt my hair on my hands. That sounds fun, and instantly makes me smell the burnt hair, and we know what that smells like. Ouch. It's okay, they'll grow back. For now, it might appear like you've shaved your hands or your arms, wherever you had burnt the hair. This morning I spent 2 hours engaging on Facebook, growing my page. See, it can take quite some time, and putting that on your planner for the day, and you can even put how many hours you have spent. It's going to be something that you can look back after a week. Another way of thinking about it is it is your list of accomplishments and achievements that you can look back on even a year from now and see what you were doing then. What were the things that are important to you? Same things might still be important, and some things might not be. And also seeing that, hey, you spent 2 hours engaging on your Facebook and growing your page. That's a lot of your day. 2 hours, right? That you spent on how many other people. Yes, it might make you feel good in the moment, but at the same time, for each response, for each comment, for each engagement, you're giving a piece of yourself behind. So it's also natural to feel drained after all of that. Then what did you do for yourself to help yourself, aside from warming up your hands over the stove? What else did you do that has helped you to refuel yourself, re-energize yourself? And it can't be by taking care of your kids or taking care of this or taking care of that. It needs to be something that you love doing, you love and enjoy doing for yourself. What was it? Because if we don't, that's another way how we can start to go back into that spiral of, I didn't do enough and I don't feel like I am enough, because you're not doing the things that are making you feel enough, because you're giving and giving and giving, and you're not giving and giving and giving or receiving for yourself. And Rebecca says, I only do that once in a while. So even if you do that once in a while, putting that in your notebook is going to be a great way to allow you to reflect back and see the things that you did and that you accomplished and you achieved. Given the fact that you already have a lot happening in your life and a lot to be responsible for, that you have found that 2 hours, whether it's once a week, once a month, whatever it is, that you did it, and then you checked it off and you highlighted that, and you can easily look back and feel good about yourself, and you will be much more likely to do it again and again and again, or to recognize, no, maybe not 2 hours, maybe an hour, and figure out the healthy balance for you and set boundaries for yourself as well. And Rebecca says, Yana, I really appreciate you sharing your journal. I'm getting inspired. Oh, thank you. And I'm glad that you're getting inspired. I know it feels like it's supposed to be private. And in reality, all the things that are in there, a lot of us can relate. A lot of us do. And it's not like I'm sharing each and everything that I'm doing in every day, because those are the things that I do. Those are the things that are important for me, my thoughts, my ideas. And for you, it would be a little bit different or a lot different. But I'm glad that you're getting inspired to do something to help you on your journey of reaching that balance in your life, on having that balance in your life that helps you to feel like you got your shit together, that no matter what happens, you have this solid structure that allows you to keep going and going. And that's why it's important to do, make it in a way, or do it in a way that excites you, that you want to do that. You feel like if you didn't do it, you're going to feel bad. That it's something that you love and enjoy doing. And by that, I mean setting up your planner in a way that you're excited to do it. You're excited to get it done. So that's why every day, as you probably noticed, that I also have stickers in there. For every day, there on top, I put a sticker. In case you didn't see, I'll show you. See, like for these days, I got these stickers. And there was time when I wasn't doing stickers. I have these stickers here. Some of them you actually see, I post these stickers as well. And then these stickers, I randomly picked them out of the box that I have. And then I have these stickers. These are for today. I didn't put any stickers for the next days because I randomly picked them. And I put them in there. And I see, what am I this is the reason why I pick the stickers randomly. It's like card reading. I pick up the sticker and I interpret what its meaning is for me for that day. And I put it either for life or for the business. Some of them I just pick randomly. This one is going to be for the life. This one's going to be for the business. And I look and I decipher what each sticker means to me. And then I stick it on. Rebecca says, true. I like looking back at my old agendas, daily lists. I literally feel like a different person now. I'm not the same person who was so motivated to be so productive every day. Now I feel productive if I get rest time, self-care time, nap time, family time, meditation time. Those are the things on my list now. I'm glad that you got to experience being so productive, and now I describe it as masculine, of doing and doing and doing, achieving and accomplishing, to now being in the place where you are tapping into feminine. Because understanding, in order for us to understand what it's like to be in the feminine, what it's like to be in the masculine, we need to be there. We need to be there for a while, not once in a while, but we need to be there for a while. We need to experience what life feels like, just doing and 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 going, like Energizer Bunny. And also the feminine, to be, to think, to process, to digest, to slow down, to learn how to trust the process, to not force things, but allow them to happen naturally. And then what's going to happen afterwards is that you will find a healthy balance for you between the masculine and the feminine, between doing and being. For me, as I live my life in that similar way, where for the first part of my life, I was just go, do, achieve. Next thing, let's get there. Very like driven, very motivated. And then I went into the deep, dark cave and I lost myself in there, couldn't find my way out. And I struggled and I suffered. And then I tapped in more into the feminine. I started doing what you're talking about, Rebecca. And this is, for me, that was the beginning of spiritual awakening. And that's why part of that, the feminine experience and then the masculine previous to that, I am continuing to figure out that balance for me every single day and every single week. With, you know, in the feminine, where I was going through the deep resting part of my life, where I spent a lot of time by myself in the quiet, meditating, isolating, going on walks, hanging out with some people, but not too many, because I started to notice that some of their energy was rubbing off on me and I wasn't liking it. So I started to get more clear on what I wanted, what I didn't, and started to set boundaries. And some of these people I let go of from my life. And I was doing a lot of napping and a lot of personal development and personal growth. A lot of that one. It was more in personal development and not as much as personal growth. Meaning I was learning a lot, but I wasn't truly applying everything that I learned because I was drowning myself in the knowledge. And until I started to apply the things that I was learning, that is when I started to slowly crawl out of that cave or in that swamp, climbing out of that swampy cave, let's call it that, and start to feel my life transform and change in a way that I dreamt of, hoped for, and also in ways that I didn't even know was possible because I wasn't clear exactly on what I wanted, because I didn't know what I wanted. How could we know what we want when we don't know who we are? So I was learning a lot about who I was, but I wasn't fully applying the things that I was learning to figure out, is this really who I am? And when I started applying what I was learning, that is when I really started to notice who I was and who I thought I was, but wasn't. That planner was actually a big help for me as well, to see, I am this type of a person that's going to get all of these things done. And in the reality, like, not today, Satan, not today. Let's put it off for another day, okay? Today, I am going to be in my feminine, and you can fluff off. Because mama needs that mental, physical, and emotional rest to digest what she has been through, what she has learned. And that also is, being a coach, as many of you can imagine, it can drain us as well. Taking in that person's energy and that person's information of what they are dealing with, what they're going through, can have an effect on us. Even when we're prepared going into the coaching session, it still can have an effect on us emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So it's important to counteract that catabolic energy, to do the things that are going to rejuvenate me, spending more time in what you, Rebecca, what you were mentioning with the self-care, the nap, the family time, the meditation time, the rest time, because rest, sleep, and nap, those three things are different. Sleep is at night. Rest is physical, emotional, and spiritual rest when we're not busy doing anything, it's just being. And doesn't necessarily mean meditation either. It's when we're allowing our body to rest, especially if we're not well. And then nap is a nap that we allow our body to have a short amount of sleep. And one thing I will share right now, as I feel like it might be suited for the moment, is that when I was doing a lot of napping and a lot of resting and a lot of sleeping and a lot of meditation time, I started to recognize that my anxiety wasn't going away. And when I indulged in personal development, learning a lot more, just listening to knowledge, and I would stop when I would feel overwhelmed, I started to hear what was being said when it comes to rest, sleep, and nap. That those who have anxiety or deal with anxiety or depression, they're more likely to resort to napping and sleeping longer, thinking that their body needs rest, when the opposite is what is needed. Because by going into the nap state, into the sleep states, it actually would more often than not amplify the anxiety. And I wish I could remember what podcast I listened to, what doctor was speaking, and exactly what was said, but I want to leave it with you just as this piece of information, that if you find this interesting and it resonates with you, to go into that rabbit hole and start digging in there to see and understand for yourself the effects of naps and sleep when already dealing with anxiety and stress and depression, and how it actually makes it worse. So when I learned that, being the scientist that I am, I think all of us are scientists in a way. It's like, you know what? Let me try this out, because it sounds like it makes so much sense. So I stopped napping. And it was hard for the first week or so, because at that point, I started to recognize that naps themselves were an addiction. That it was an addiction for me to escape reality. And I no longer wanted to escape reality. I felt like I started to recognize that I needed to escape reality. So I stopped taking naps because I did not want that addiction in my life, that escape in my life. And you know what happened? The very thing that they said was going to happen, that my anxiety became better. I wasn't as depressed. I wasn't as sad. I wasn't as annoyed and irritated. Everything just seemed to have improved a little bit more each and every day. And it became so much easier to not need that nap. It's like a typical addiction. So just leaving that piece of information for you to do what you will with it. And then Rebecca says, it was a regular day, but I was actually feeling sick. Victor brought me beautiful flowers and balloons, a beautiful necklace with moon and sun and sparkly crystals. Oh, he knows you very well. I can like almost see your eyes and your soul sparkle. It's like, oh my God, you know me. Get me all these moons and the suns and sparkly crystals. Yes, please. And surprise me with them. That sounds like a celebration. Even though I know you were feeling sick, you weren't feeling well, they still got to celebrate by sharing the gifts. What else is there? I always feel drained after engaging and creating. The phrase that comes to mind is, you're doing it wrong. And only you can figure out what doing it right looks, feels, and sounds like. And I say that because I was doing that wrong as well. And what I figured out is that I was coming from a place of, I have to do it or else. And that's not a healthy place to start. So instead, I put it aside and said, I don't have to do shit if I don't want to do it. No one can tell me what to do, not even myself. So I'm going to do it when I feel like doing it, when I am excited and when I'm motivated, when I am ready to give. Sometimes it meant that I needed and wanted to spend time with myself, to listen to music, to dance, to go on a walk, not so much so in the winter, but also to have conversation, or sometimes maybe where you start or how you start your engaging and creating, starting in a different way. So right now you might start, for example, with notifications and go on to messages and then go on to creating, or however you start. Figuring out a different way. So instead of going to notifications first, maybe you'll be more excited, motivated to go and do messages first, and then see what you want to do after, or what you want to do after. Finding one of those 3, 4, or 5 things that you're doing. What's the one that excites you the most? Do that first. You know, some people would say that do the thing that you don't want to do first. And as that does work for some people, it doesn't work for people who are in a catabolic, in a sensitive state of being. Because then they're coming from a place of forcing themselves to do something they don't want to do. It's like eating something you don't want to eat. No one wants to eat shit, right? It's like, eat shit. No, I don't want to eat that. Obviously. So why force yourself to do that? Do the thing that you are excited to do. And all the other things, you know you want to do anyways. But by doing this, what's the next exciting thing on that list for you to do? And also, the words that you use and think play a massive role. And that's why starting with, what's the first exciting thing that you want to do off that list? Saying really what that means is that all of these things are exciting. You're excited to do them all. But what's the first exciting thing that you want to do? What are you most excited about from this list? It will be this thing. It will be, let's say, messaging. What's the next exciting thing on that list for you to do? What are you excited about second? And then third, and then fourth, and fifth, and so on and on. And when you, first of all, look at things that way and start to do those things that you're excited to do, you will start to recognize that you are actually excited. Instead of, what is the hardest thing on this list? And let me go get that done now, just so I can get it out of the way. Think about the mindset, the emotional state, the energetic state, and what you're actually saying. What is it that you don't want to do off this list, and you have to do it? How excited are you? And let me do that so I can just get it over with and move on to the other things. Now, we're not meant to live our life forcing ourselves to do things that we don't want to do. But we could look at the things that we have to do in an exciting way, and in a way that we want to do them, by looking at them in ways such as, what am I excited to do? Debbie said, today we're visiting some elders and dining out for late Valentine's. Ooh, that sounds exciting. And I'm sure they're going to love that love and attention from all of you as well, and connection. I would imagine some of them might not have family that comes and visits them often enough or at all. And you get to spend some time sharing love and conversations as well. Rebecca says, yes, just learned about masculine and feminine. I love it. Masculine, feminine, and applying are good topics for future. Yes, I love that. Thank you. I think I'm gonna come up with or use that topic one of these coming days. And then Debbie said, I feel like I'm learning a lot and digesting. Good. I'm glad to hear that you're learning a lot and digesting, whether it's in this video or just in general that you're doing, learning a lot and digesting. Now, how are you regurgitating it, right? Because what are you doing about what you're learning? What are you putting in place to take action on those things that you're learning about and digesting about? Because in order for us to take action, we learn, we digest, which means we take time to understand, process. Some of us, or some things that we learn, we can come up with the actions and the mini goals right away, whereas other things might take a little bit of time to think and process. But it is important to, what are you going to be doing with what you have learned and digested and took the time to understand. And Rebecca says, I rarely get to rest, nap, or sleep, so they are cherished. Yeah, your lifestyle is different than many other women, and this is where you're figuring out what works for you and what doesn't, and making sure that you get enough rest and sleep and naps as well. And then the other part I had learned about naps is that the best naps are under 20 minutes, because after 20 minutes, our body, mind, they go into REM sleep. And when we don't complete the REM cycle, which is about another 2 to 3 hours, I believe. I'm not a sleep expert here, by the way. But another 2 to 3 hours when we are in that REM sleep, that when we wake up and we haven't completed that cycle, that this is one of the reasons why we tend to feel groggy and tired and sluggish as well. So recognizing how or why we might be feeling a certain way and paying attention to ourselves and our body can help us. We're supposed to be our own little scientists and figure out what works for us and do more of the things that work for us, and then figure out what doesn't work for us and start to eliminate those things that don't work for us. And then Rebecca says, and I have to create opportunities or it won't happen. And I would imagine you're saying that with the nap, sleep, and rest. Yeah. I know what your lifestyle is like for the majority of it when it comes to the sleep and the rest. So it makes perfect sense, knowing what I know, that it's important to set those boundaries and find those opportunities for yourself to sleep, to rest, to make sure that you get an adequate amount of sleep, rest, and relaxation as well. Because if we don't, then we also don't feel good. It just adds to our catabolic energy and emotional state. So, okay. Let me see really quickly what else I can mention here when it comes to helping you find a divine balance and allow you to thrive as a spiritual mompreneur as you're building your business, or have a job or a career. Taking that time for your spiritual practices, that's going to be part of your life, part of the journaling. Making sure that, like Rebecca, you were saying, to create those opportunities. Another thing that some of you might have already heard is that meditation is also so helpful for those of us that need rest or feel like we need to take a nap. And what it means is that I'm not 100% on the number. I think it's either 11-minute meditation or a 15-minute meditation is an equivalent of a 3-hour sleep, 3-hour nap, without that grogginess, without that deep REM sleep effect that we can experience when we don't get through the whole entire cycle. So, by doing a meditation that is 11 to 15 minutes, you can feel restored. You can feel cleansed. You can feel rested. You can feel recharged. And you can also feel excited and motivated, especially if you're doing a guided meditation. That helps you to focus on those aspects of feeling restored, feeling recharged. It takes you on a journey to experience it and to feel it within you. And then I already talked about find that healthy balance between life and business, motherhood as well, the things that you are responsible for as a mother. I mentioned boundaries and priorities, figuring out what those are, and maintaining that balance and sticking to those boundaries and sticking to those priorities, and not what's coming to mind is you're not responsible for everything. And one thing about boundaries and priorities is that not all of them you are responsible for, meaning that there is someone else in your life that can step in, that can help you out. For most of us, we can ask somebody else to help. We can delegate certain tasks, certain activities, so you can do what is more important for you. Instead of you being responsible for every single thing for your kids and for your family, there's some things that can be delegated to other people who are part of that family, no matter how young they are. Even a 1-year-old can tidy up their room. You're not responsible for cleaning up after them, but you are responsible for teaching your offsprings how to clean up after themselves. So that way they'll learn to be responsible for themselves and not put that expectation on somebody else later in life as well. It's up to us as parents to teach our kids all these life skills that schools don't teach them. Like cleaning and tidying up your room. Like, you done eating your food, go put your dishes away. I'm not your maid. We don't get paid for all those things. And yes, we can do it, no problem, because it's easier to do it than to ask somebody else to do it or nag someone else to do it, as some would say. But initially, yeah, it would be hard and uncomfortable because it's easier to just suck it up and do it yourself. But in the long run, it won't be. We're not doing anyone any favors. Prioritize your self-care, prioritize your self-being, learn to put yourself first and not second, third, fourth, or last. Take care of you so you can take care of everybody else, making sure that your purpose and your passions and your curiosities align with who you are, align with who you are working towards becoming and being, and your values. And make sure that you reach out to anyone who can help you through what you're going through, meaning your support systems. When you're having a hard day, having a rough day, where can you go or who can you go to that will help you to work through what's going on internally for you? Journaling is great. If you have a list of questions that help you to work through your blocks, that's great as well. Having quotes to remind you where you're at and who you are is great as well. But nothing replaces human interaction. Nothing replaces someone who is there for you and has your best interest at heart. So if you don't have people like that in your life, I highly encourage you to seek them out. Some of them would be experts. There's coaches like myself. There's therapists. There's psychotherapists. So that's 3. It could be even a personal trainer. Maybe because you want to get in shape and you want someone to whoop you into shape. So why not? Figure out who you want as part of your support fortress and go get them. Go after them. Make sure that they're part of a support fortress. And then for some of them, you might also be returning the favor, right? Because some friends are there for you and you can be there for your friends. Okay. So, hey, Kelly, how are you doing? Beautiful. Kelly says, hardest to ask for help, especially mental support. Yeah. My favorite quote is that if we want to have an easy life, we gotta do the hard things. But if we want a hard life, then we can continue doing the easy things. Now, that's not exact quote, word for word, but you get the idea. The idea is that if we want to have an easy life, then we must do the things that are hard, which in this case, asking for help. And one thing I had learned when it comes to asking for help, the reason why it was hard to ask for help is because of being rejected and facing that fear of rejection. So learning to delegate, to let people know this is what I want you to do in a very assertive way, very clear and assertive way. I want you to do this, and this is how I want you to do it. That's what a leader would do. And it will be there to help and support them as well. When it's like thinking of people in our life as children. All of us are children. All of us need a little bit of help and guidance and support in the things that we perhaps might have never done. So, as if we would to a child, we would tell a child, I want you to clean your room, and this is how I want you to clean your room. You take the time and explain. How much of that is your child going to remember and retain? Probably not much. So one of the important things to mention is that saying something along these lines that I know this is the first time or one of the few first times that you're doing this, so I want to make sure that I'm here for you to help and guide and support you. I'm not going to do it for you, but I will help you and I will support you and I will guide you to make sure that this task gets completed by this day, by this time, and so that way it's completed in the right way. So when we're asking our friends or our partners or our family members to do something for us, to ask for help, instead of asking, we tell them what we want. And if they've never done it, I'm here to help and support you and guide you. I'm not here to do it for you, because I want you to learn that on your own. So instead of asking, telling, delegating in a loving and assertive way. And it's best when we take the time to normalize our energy so we don't feel triggered or scared to delegate something, because doing something new for the first time. So take the time to warm up to it, digest of how you're going to be bringing that up. There's absolutely nothing wrong with rehearsing that in your mind, because you get better through rehearsing, through thinking about it, through processing what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And when the time comes, you might not say it exactly in the same way, but it'll be close enough that they'll get it. And because you also rehearsed in your mind or out loud, that you already have some more backup content to get that message across, to get that ask across. But when we're asking, it almost comes across as, please, kind sir, can you do this for me? If you can't, that's okay. I get that as well. And it makes us feel small as well. I know it did for me. And I'm speaking from my personal experience as well as my clients, that when we ask for help, one of the biggest reasons why we don't feel good doing so is because it's coming from the place of fear and place of rejection, or feeling like we're going to be rejected and that we're not going to be heard, they don't care about us, they don't want to do it, where usually that's not true. It's just our mind tells us it is. And I'm not important to them, they don't have time for me, where in reality, they do. You just need to make sure that it comes across as it's important to you, and it will be important to them just as much as it is important to you. And then especially with mental health, it's, asking for help when it comes to mental health. That one is a lot more challenging, because if we ask the wrong people, the response could be wrong as well. So making sure that you ask for that help and support with mental health from the right people. And because one of the worst things or experiences that many of us have gone through is opening up and speaking up about something that is a touchy or vulnerable subject to us, to someone who doesn't give a flying rat's ass. And it makes us feel even worse than before. And that is where we start to shut down and put these things and hide these things from everyone around us, thinking that this is how everybody else is going to respond. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I will continue to mention to each and every one of you how important it is to seek out help, especially with mental health, from experts, not your friends or family. Because part of my language, but they know jack shit. And they wouldn't even know how to help you. And the truth of that is that it would make them uncomfortable, because they want to help you, they want to support you, want to fix it for you like that. And by giving you a suggestion or recommendation, they expect you to do something about it. But more often than not, what they suggest and what they recommend doesn't even fit into your needs or you. So that's why it's important to seek out the right kind of help with the right, for every problem, there is the right solution for it. And there's many other wrong solutions. For many years, I would go and talk to my friends about what I was going through. None of them even heard it. None of them helped in any kind of shape, way, or form. Some of them would take it personally. And some of them just didn't know how to deal. And I don't blame them. Some of them didn't even go through those things that I was going through. So there was nothing that they could understand or relate, because in order for us to even tell a woman what it's like to give birth that has never given birth, yeah, she might understand some concept, but until you go through it yourself, you don't fully understand it. Until you have experienced depression, you can't fully understand it. Until you experience anxiety and panic attacks, you can't fully understand it. So if we go to people who have never had that experience, they're not going to be the right support or right guide or even the right person to be vulnerable and open with. We can feel criticized. We can feel ridiculed. We can feel shamed. We can feel guilted. We can feel embarrassed when we bring ourselves, our true, whole, authentic self, when we are going through something to the wrong people. Kelly said, I think I don't ask for help is embarrassment, thinking others will judge. And that right there is a perfect example that we don't ask for help because fear of judgment, fear of persecution, fear of feeling embarrassed, shamed, uncomfortable, because it's the wrong person. But if it's with the right person, by opening up and sharing and asking for help, you feel heard, seen, understood, supported, guided, and I don't know if I mentioned safe, but in the end, you do feel safe and secure. And it makes a massive, massive difference. And Rebecca replied to Kelly saying, same, I have a really hard time asking for help. I have a fear of being disappointed and let down. That's what I refer to as rejected. That when we ask for help, we can feel disappointed and let down because we ask for help and the other person might not even hear it as help. Because the way we're asking is not very clear. We're not very assertive. That you're like, oh, it's okay. She's just, what's the phrase? That she's just sharing what she's going through. She's just, talking about what she's dealing with. She's just expressing herself. She's just getting things off her chest. But, she's saying that she wants help, but I don't really hear that she needs my help that much. Because when we ask for help in ways like, honey, can you watch our daughter and our son while I go and take a bath? If you can, that's okay. I completely get it. I just really need to go take a bath right now. It sounds weak because it's coming from a place of I am feeling and being weak. And I also speak from experience. So this is not in any shape, way, or form talking about how you are coming across. I'm speaking from how I felt like I was coming across. And if that's relatable to you, then we're vibing here, right? We're on the same page. But asking in the way of, from the weak state of being and mind, that it's coming from a place of, please tell me I am worthy enough of this time to spend by myself taking a bath. And if you don't think I am, that's okay. I totally get that. Maybe I'll find some time later. Instead of stating, I'm going to go take a bath right now, and I'm asking you to go and watch our children. You can do this with them, you can do that with them, or something else that all three of you will be excited about doing together. and I will be gone for 30 minutes to an hour. I just need this time for myself so I can feel like a sane person after I'm done. And when I'm done, I will be more than happy to take over, and maybe we can spend time together as a family. So the way that we ask has massive effect on the result as well. If we're coming from a weak state of mind, we're going to feel weak in the process, and we're going to get a weak result. But when we're coming from a strong place of mind and energy, then we're going to have a strong result as well. And everyone loves to be confident, and everyone loves a confident person in their life. And all of you have that within you. All of us have a confident version of ourselves. And when I say strong way of asking, what I mean is confident and assertive. Not aggressive, assertive. Clear and assertive. Rebecca says, I'll say, do you mind if I take a shower alone without interruption? Or should I wait until they are asleep? You're asking for permission. Asking for permission is catabolic. But when you state and say, try this next time. I'm going to take a shower right now. I'll be done in 20 minutes. Please go watch the kids. If you need ideas of how to keep them busy, I can tell you what you can do, or I can share them with you. How does that sound? Is it something that you see yourself asking in that way, which is confident and assertive and from a loving place? Loving place for you, and at the same time respectful place for the other person, for Victor. That you are going to take a shower, because you're not asking for permission. You're not a child anymore. You don't need to ask for permission. You need to tell him, as a confident, independent woman, that you are going to go and take a shower right now. If you like humor, you can say right now. That works too. I'm going to go take a shower right now. And when I'm done, we can do this and this and that. Or I'll take over. You don't need to even say why you're going to take a shower. You just go and take a shower. That's it. You need to explain, because if you start to get into explanation, the other person can hear a way out for them, because it's easier for you to do everything. Of course it's easier. So he doesn't have to. So why not switch it up a little bit and then see how he hears it and perceives it and sees you like, ooh, damn, I like this woman. After you're done showering, we're going to meet you right there. The kids will be good by themselves. Try that. See what happens. Rebecca says, I'll try that. I like that. So try it and let me know how that works out. DM me or message me. Another word of DMing, and let me know how that works out for you. I'd love to hear. And Nikela said, same, always asking permission. I find myself and my voice gets louder when I do not feel heard. So one thing I had learned about why we get loud and when we yell is because even though we're right in front of each other, we feel so far apart. It's like our souls are drifting apart, and by yelling, we're trying to bring them back together. So instead of yelling, whispering. And when you whisper, people will lean in and they will try to hear what you're saying and pay attention. They will listen and they will hear you better. I tried that trick on my kids when my son was really little. And he was just high energy. I mean, he's still high energy. And I would be loud and tell him what to do and ask him. But instead of being loud, I started whispering. And he would hear me better. And he would respond. To him, it became fun whispering. So Stop asking for permission to do what you want to do. You are no longer a child. And this is a massive, massive, massive trait of good girls. We've been programmed over our lifetime to ask for permission, because a good girl asks for permission before she does something to make sure that everyone in the room is okay with it. And if not, then that's okay. I'll do it some other time when you allow me to. But now you're a mature, confident adult. Say what you want. Speak your needs. Speak your desires. Don't ask for permission. Tell them what you're going to be doing. There's another phrase I'm sure all of you have heard. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. And I'm not saying to go and do what you want so that way you have to apologize for it later. That's not my way of living life, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, because it also can show disregard and disrespect to the other person. And for men especially, they're all about respect. And if you want respect in your life, then you need to come from a place of respect. And when we ask for permission, it does not feel very confident, hence respectful to yourself. Respect is earned. It is not given. So you got to earn that respect by speaking loudly and clearly, not loudly like yelling, but confidently, assertively, and clearly, this is what I'm going to do. And then do that. Rebecca says, I totally relate. And Kayla said, I forgot all about whisper. Yeah, the magical whispers. We naturally just want to listen in to the whisper. When somebody's whispering in the other room, like, oh, what are they talking about? What are they saying? Right? Even though it's not necessarily what are they saying about me, but you just want to hear, because all of a sudden it's intriguing. It catches or piques our curiosity. So we want to actually listen in. So try that and see how that works out for you. So hope that's it that I got for you guys for today, you ladies for today. Hopefully this was a helpful topic, helpful conversation to help you to find that divine balance in your life. And I really appreciate how we ended this by talking about who we are versus who we're trying to be. What you ladies are expressing to me is that you want to be confident, you want to be assertive, you want to feel heard, you want to feel seen and supported, understood, and validated. And you want to learn how to claim your space without asking for permission for that space for you. And how having that part of you and your personality trait edited a little bit will help you to have that divine balance throughout your whole entire life. And it will translate into your business and career or job, where you will show up as that empowered version of yourself. So I'm going to ask you one last question that I'm going to read the responses to this later. Rebecca says, ooh, whisper. I got to try that too. LOL. Yes, try that and see how that works. Also would love to hear from both of you ladies as you try these new things that you have learned, which are not really new things. You already knew all these things. They're just reminders for you. So as you try these new reminders, or refreshed reminders for you, let me know how they work out for you. And those of you that are watching or listening on replay, I invite you to do the same thing. Try these things, especially if it relates to what you're going through, what you're dealing with, and with who you currently are being, which is not who you are. Share that with me through the Messenger, Facebook Messenger, in case you're listening to this on the actual podcast platform. Oh, and if you ladies are not subscribed to my podcast, which is Get Your Shit Together with Yana Kasperczak, which is on your favorite podcast platform, then I invite you to subscribe. A lot of these videos that you might have already listened to or might not have listened to are uploaded and will be uploaded on a weekly basis. I typically upload 2 videos per week, and you can listen to them anytime, anywhere, because you can download the podcast and listen to it. I know on some platforms you're able to watch the video version, and then most of them or all of them will also have the audio version as well. And Kayla says, thank you, you're welcome. Thank you for being on here with me, Kelly, Rebecca, Debbie was on here, and a couple of other people hopped on. Just say hello, whether you prefer to be a silent watcher or not. Just saying hello is much appreciated, and I'll say hi back. Other than that, thank you everybody for being on here with me, and I'm just looking forward to hearing your takeaways from this video, your biggest aha moment, your biggest takeaway. In other words, what did you really learn today? Question number 1. Question number 2, what are you going to do with what you learned today? Because it's important to take action on our lessons and our learnings, to instill them into our roots, into our core, into our being. And that's how change happens. It doesn't just happen by sheer hope. It happens by taking the action on the things that we want to take action. So anyways, that is all that I have for you ladies for today. Thank you. And until we see each other again on Monday for intuitive card reading with myself, which will be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time-ish. And that is all. Hope you enjoyed this one. And until Monday. Bye, everybody.